Harbarthsljoth, the poem of the Harbar, and the embarrassment of Thor. Thor was on the way back from a journey in the east and came to a sound. On the other side of the sound was a ferryman with a boat. Thor called out, "Who is the fellow yonder on the farther shore of the sound?" The ferryman spake,
"What kind of peasant is yon that calls o'er the bay?"
Thor spake,
"Ferry me over the sound. I will feed thee, therefore, in the morning a basket I have on my back, and food therein none better. At leisure I ate, ere the house I left, of herrings and porridge, so plenty I had."
The ferryman replied condescendingly,
"Of thy morning feats art thou proud, but the future thou knowest not wholly. Thy mother, methinks, is dead."
Thor spoke out angrily,
"Now hast thou said what to each must seem the mightiest grief, that my mother is dead."
The ferryman spake,
"3 good dwellings, methinks thou hast not. Barefoot thou standest, and wearest a beggar's dress. Not even hose dost thou have."
Thor spake,
"Steer thou hither the boat, the landing here shall I show thee. But whose the craft that thou keepest on the shore?"
The ferryman spake,
"Hildolf's is he, who bade me have it. A hero wise, his home is at Rathsey's sound. He bade me no robbers to steer, nor stealers of steeds, but worthy men, and those whom well do I know. Say now thy name, if over the sound thou wilt fare."
Thor spake,
"Indeed my name shall I tell, though in danger I am, and all of my race. I am Odin's son, Milli's brother, and Migni's father, the strong one of the gods. With Thor now speech canst thou get, and now would I know what name thou hast. Harbarth am I, and seldom do I hide my name."
Thor spake,
"Why shouldst thou hide thy name, if quarrel thou hast not?"
Harbarth spake,
"And though I had a quarrel from such as thou art, yet none the less my life would I guard, unless I be doomed to die."
Thor spake,
"Great trouble, methinks, would it be to come to thee, to wade the waters across and wet my middle. Weakling, well shall I pay thy mocking words, if across the sound I come."
Harbarth spake,
"Here shall I stand, and await thee here. Thou hast found since Hagnar's death no fiercer man."
Thor spake,
"Fain art thou to tell how with Hagnar I fought, the haughty giant whose head of stone was made, and yet I failed him, and stretched him before me. What Harbarth did, thou'st thee while."
Harbarth spake,
5 full winters in Fylvar was I, and dwelt in the isle that is Elrond called. There could we fight, and fell the slain. Much could we seek, and maids could master."
Thor spake,
"How won ye success with your women?"
Harbarth spake,
"Lively women we had, if they wise for us. Wise were the women we had, if they kind for us were. For ropes of sand they would seek to wind, and the bottom to dig. From the deepest dale, wiser than all, in council I was, and there I slept by the sisters 7, and joy full great did I get from each. What, Thor, didst thou the while?"
Thor spake,
Thiazi I felled, the giant fierce, and I hurled the eyes of Alveldai's son to the heavens hot above. Of my deeds the mightiest mark are these that all men since can see. What, Hardarth, didst thou the while?
Harbeth spoke.
Much love craft I wrought with them who ride by night. Then I stole them by stealth from their husbands. A giant hard was Halbarth. Methinks his wand he gave me as gift, and I stole his wits away.
Thor spake.
Thou didst repay good gifts with evil mind?
Harbarth spake.
The oak must have what it shaves from another. In such things each for himself. What Thor didst thou the while?
Thor spake.
Eastward I fared, of the giants I felled, their ill-working women who went to the mountain, and large were the giants' throng. If all were alive, no men would there be in Midgarth more. What, Harbarth, didst thou the while?
Harbarth spake.
In Vinland I was, and wars I raised, princes I angered, and peace brought never. The noble who fall in the fight hath Odin, and Thor hath the race of thralls.
Thor spake.
Unequal gifts of men wouldst thou give to the gods, if might too much thou shouldest have.
Harbarth spake.
Thor has might enough, but never a heart. For cowardly fear in a glove wast thou fain to crawl, and there forgot thou wast Thor. Afraid there thou wast. Thy fear was such to fart or sneeze, lest Freyr should hear.
Thor spake.
Thou womanish Harbarth, to hell I would smite thee straight, could my arm reach over the sound.
Harbarth spake.
Wherefore reach over the sound, since strife we have none? What, Thor, didst thou do then?
Thor spake.
Eastward I was, and the river I guarded well, where the sons of Svarning sought me there. Stones did they hurl, small joy did they have of winning. Before me there to ask for peace did they fare. What, Harbarth, didst thou the while?
Harbarth spake.
Eastward I was, and spake with a certain one. I played with the linen white maid, and met her by stealth. I gladdened the gold-decked one, and she granted me joy.
Thor spake.
Full fair was thy woman finding.
Harbarth spake.
Thy help did I need then, Thor, to hold white maid fast.
Thor spake.
Gladly had I been there, my help to thee had been given.
Harbarth spake.
I might have trusted thee then. Didst thou not betray thy troth?
Thor spake.
No heel bitter am I. In truth, like an old leather shoe in spring.
Harbarth spake.
What, Thor, didst thou the while?
Thor spake.
In Helsley, the brides of the berserkers slew I. Most evil they were, and all they betrayed.
Harbarth spake.
Shamedest thou when that woman thou slewest, Thor?
Thor spake.
She-wolves they were like, and women but little. My ship, which well I had trimmed did they shake, with clubs of iron they threatened, and Thidefall they drove off. What, Harbarth, didst thou the while?
Harbarth spake.
In the host I was, that hither fared, the banners to raise, and the spear to ridden.
Thor spake.
Wilt thou now say that hatred thou soughtest to bring us?
Harbarth spake.
A ring for thy hand shall make all right for thee, as the judge decides, who sets us two at peace.
Thor spake.
Where foundest thou so foul and scornful a speech? More foul a speech I never before have I heard.
Harbarth spake.
I learned it from men, the men so old who dwell in the hills of home.
Thor spake.
A name full good to heaps of stones thou givest when thou callest them hills of home.
Thor continued.
All for thee comes thy keenness of tongue. If the water I choose to wade, louder I ween than a wolf thou criest. If a blow of my hammer thou hast.
Harbarth spake.
Sif has a lover at home, and him shouldest thou meet. More fitting it were on him to put forth thy strength.
Thor spake.
Thy tongue still makes thee say what seems most ill to me, thou witless man. Thou liest, I ween.
Harbarth spake.
Truth is, do I speak, but slow on the way thou art. Far hadst thou gone, if now in the boat thou hadst fared.
Thor spake.
Thou womanish Harbarth, here hast thou held me too long.
Harbarth spake.
I thought not ever that as Thor would be hindered by a ferryman thus from faring.
Thor spake.
One counsel I bring thee now. Row hither thy boat. No more of scoffing. Set Magni's father across.
Harbarth spake.
From the sound go hence. The passage thou hast not.
Thor spake.
The way now show me, since thou takest me not o'er the water.
Harbarth spake.
To refuse it is little, to fare it is long. A while to the stock, and a while to the stone. Then the road to thy left, till Verland thou reachest, and there shall Frodion, her son, Thor find, and the road of her children she shows him to Othin's realm.
Thor spake.
May I come so far in a day?
Harbarth spake.
With toil and trouble, perchance, while the sun still shines, or so I think.
Thor spake.
Short now shall be our speech, for thou speakest in mockery only. The passage thou givest me not I shall pay thee if ever we meet.
Harbarth spake.
Get hence where everything evil shall have thee.
Thank you for listening to harbarthsljoth. If you enjoyed this recording, be sure to check out some of my other videos. Also, like, comment, subscribe, and share my stuff around. The more people who see this, the more I'll be able to create. But with all that being said, check me out on Patreon. Good night, guys.